Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Alright. I'll send a couple of people down there. Alright, cool. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody find me Olson and get a hold of Ken. We've got. Welcome to Matt Reviews Books, and I am Matt. And this week is something a little different, as you may have noticed. Something I wanted to do last year, wasn't quite sure how to execute. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to occasionally, maybe every once a month, let's say once a month, have a book-related news segment. Or just a book-related news show. And I've always been interested in the industry side of books and publishing. It's not going to be in-depth. Interesting items and tidbits. We'll see how it goes. 2018, the time for change. So this was in the midst of all that moving in January. I still was keeping my ear to the ground. I get these newsletters and email blasts and all that kind of thing on my mailing list. And one of the items that I saw was a article in the Atlantic. This was dated January 28th, 2018. And it's an article, The Library's Bringing Small-Town News Back to Life. And it addresses, it looks at just sort of how when you have this contraction of newspapers, like there's no really local news. And I mean like really hyper-local, like kind of the way newspapers always used to be. Every town had a newspaper. Those small newspapers, those small town papers are really going away. They're being bought out, consolidated. I worked at a newspaper. It was a hyper-local newspaper, but it was still owned by a mega corporation. A lot of towns don't have their newspapers. They don't have people who that is what they get paid to do, which is find out information about the local town. We're not talking about just crime. We're talking about what's happening, church picnics and parades and fundraisers and local high school baseball games or football games and events. 4th of July, fireworks, when's that happening? Where's it going to be happening? Those things are the kinds of things that I, as a local newspaper reporter, would go find out. If a town doesn't have it, where do they go? This article in the Atlantic by David Beard. I should probably mention I should always remember to mention the reporters' names. David Beard in the Atlantic is looking at how libraries are sort of stepping into that vacuum because they're the other institution of America that really has an intimate relationship with those kinds of primary documents, which is public information, all the stuff that happens. Libraries have public spaces, but not just for reading, community events, game night. Is there a game night in your library? There's a game night in my library. The second one I thought was that the Oxford English Dictionary. If you don't have an Oxford English Dictionary, you're smart like me, because those things are huge. Unless you get the abridged version, in which case it's... Oxford English Dictionary has included some more words. And apparently, and I found this was an article I found on The Guardian. It's from January 30th, 2018. The Oxford English Dictionary is the bulwark for words in the English language. It's even beyond Webster. Everybody uses Webster, but the OED is official. It's the place to go for the ever expanding universe that is the English language. Let's see, more than 1,100 new words were included. So what were the 1,100 new words? Because I just looked through this and I was reading through this. I always love when the Oxford English Dictionary adds words. So what are the new word entries? Ant Flo. I've heard lady friends of mine refer to it as their Aunt Flo being a monthly guest. Clucky, co-parent, deglobalization, dickish. That is an excellent word to include. Disney. Disney is an adjective in the Oxford English Dictionary. Mansplain. There's a word for you. Mansplain. It's how things that really don't need to be explained get explained by man. Specifically, as I've seen it used, it's actually how feminists or feminism is explained to women by men. Can get ugly. Self-compose, self-combust. Yeah, I thought this would have been all in there as it was. Disarticulation. Self-conjugate. How do you self-conjugate? Anyway, you get the idea. There's just a whole bunch of words. And if you want to look it up, I'll put the links to these things in the description. And finally, here we go. We're at 12 minutes. Is January 24th, 2018. So this last week. Book and grilled cheese pairings. So first of all, it goes into how to make grilled cheese. Different ways to make grilled cheese. Ingredients, different breads. You know what I'm saying? And then the books that you would read while eating. So let's see. And this is on quirkbooks.com. I will definitely put the link on this. It's a blog. And so what does it have? What do we have here? It has Lord of the Rings. So for Lord of the Rings, you want a chewy wheat with aged cheddar, maybe a couple of strips of crispy bacon or tomato, and a grilled cheese sandwich. Fried green tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe by Fanny Flagg. And, well, that book will require sourdough with pimento. And possibly, for your filling, a single layer of crispy fried green tomatoes. And then here we go. I think we're going to end on this one. A Game of Thrones. What kind of grilled cheese sandwich would you have with Game of Thrones? Well, this blog recommends honey wheat with brie. Using pulled roast chicken as well in your filling. Oh my gosh, look at how long we've been talking. That's it. That's all I have for you. There's a couple of things here that I thought were pretty interesting. Libraries filling in for newspapers, new words from the Oxford English Dictionary. And there you go, some food, some book and grilled cheese sandwich pairings. I hope you enjoyed this. If so, follow along, subscribe. And what the heck? Why don't you go ahead and also tell me what comfort foods do you like to curl up with when you're reading? Why not? Let me know down below. Do you grilled cheese sandwich? Are you ice cream? Haagen-Dazs? It's moon pies? What is it? Fried chicken? Kind of be greasy with pages, but whatever. I don't judge. And I will see you next time.